Hello, welcome to Nana's Journey. I'm Deanna, and today we are going to do the cabin part of the Prairie Home quilt. This one right here in Lori Holts Prairie Home book. First thing we're going to do though is add these bee strips to the edge of our units here. We've made these units and we've made this. All we have left is the log cabin and these spacer strips right here, and then these bee units, and then we can put it together. So I've got everything cut out. Here's those bee strips. Here's those units that I need to put on the edges. And these are the fabrics that I'm using for the log cabin. I should have said this in the first video. There is a piece for the lawn. Let's see. It's this long piece. So whichever piece you want to use for the lawn, that takes 2 with the fabric strip. So you might want to cut that before you cut into anything else. Go through your pattern book and find out which strips are really long. So you want to cut those first and set them aside. And then you can get to work on all your little scrappy pieces. So let's get to the sewing machine. Okay, I've got these pinned onto the units, and I haven't trimmed them to the correct size. I'll sew it on and then I'll trim it when I'm done. Okay, and I will iron those later. But now we've got our little border. Okay, now we're going to make the star that goes on our door. And I've got the little star points, the star center, and the other part. So we're going to make some flying geese. Here's the corners with folded corners, and I'm just going to use the sew line tape. And I'm going to go from corner to corner. Okay, now that we've got those trimmed with a 1/4 inch seam and pressed, we're just going to do the same thing to the other side to go from the outside corner to the inside corner. And we'll get those trimmed and pressed, and then we can put our sawtooth star together. Okay, the middle row is going to be pressed towards the center. The top and the bottom rows are pressed towards the outside. and then they will nest. Square it up, and you've got a sawtooth star for your door, and then we've got 2 pieces we're going to put there, a piece we're going to put there, and then a piece we're going to put there. There's our door. We still need to put some door frames on. SST. So we've got 2 strips. And then we will have 1 strip up here. Okay, we'll press those open and then we can put on the other piece. There's our door. Now we're going to work on our windows. We're going to have 2 windows. Use the same trim as we used for our door. And then once those are sewn on, we'll put on the top and bottom. Okay, and you're going to press towards the brown. Okay, and there are our 2 windows. Okay, now we're going to take N and R, and we're going to have 3 N's, 2 R's. We're just going to put those together in a strip, and then we will put those on the sides of each window. Okay, and I'm going to press these to the brown. Now we're just going to put these together. Okay, now that we've got those ironed, we can attach them to each side of our window. Okay, now we're going to make 2 sets of these strips. These are going to go under the window on each side of the door. And we will be pressing towards the light brown. Okay, I just tried doing it without pinning and I did not like that, so I'm going to pin. Now we're going to put these 2 pieces together. And these will get pressed towards the window trim. Nope, they get pressed towards this piece, sorry. Okay, now we're going to put our door in between the windows. And we will press towards the door frame. Okay, now we've got our cabin front, almost. We're going to put these 2 strips together, and then we're going to put them on the top above the door. And then we will put 2 spacers on the sides, and then we will put the roof on. Okay, and we are going to pin this so that the light strip is right next to what we've done. Now we're going to take our roof and put a spacer on each side. Okay, now we need to put the spacers on the sides of the cabin. Okay, now we're going to sew on our section that goes on top of the roof. Okay, I had to add another 1.5-inch strip to get this to fit. I looked it over and I have no idea where I went wrong, but I don't know. Now it fits. Okay, now I'm going to put these on the sides of the house. And then I will put some strips over all the way across the top and some lawn strips all the way across the bottom. Okay, for the top piece, you're just going to sew 2 pieces together and trim it to the correct size. The same thing with the lawn piece, only you also have some folded corners for this, and you want to make sure they're mirror images. You're going to press and trim those. And then I'm going to pin these pieces onto the cabin. I probably won't record it because the fabric gets in the way of the camera because there's so much fabric there. So I'll show it to you as soon as I'm done. Okay, there's the top. It's all finished. I hope you can see the whole thing. The sun is shining on the camera screen, so I can't really see anything. I'm guessing. But it was a lot of fun. I think it turned out really cute. I like the curves that I put in the crow's body and wings, and the curves in the moon and the trees. I think that looks nice. I'm backed up on my quilting, so I'll only be able to show you the quilt top. But like I said, I think it turned out really cute. And I want to thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you next time on Nana's Journey.